And then if you've got questions you just want to have answered at the end, you can drop those in the Q&A tab. At least if you're on Kickstarter, you can drop them in the Q&A tab, and we'll address those at the end, and have kind of a little bit of a live Q&A session with AJ at the end once he's done destroying me at the game he designed.
No, it's the Kitsune is going to destroy us both. That was her
probably. She's become pretty mean.
No, it's just maybe a co-op game now with her in it.
Yeah. The only thing we haven't done, we've got our shrines, we've got our action cubes, we've got the scorecards and the villager decks and villager tokens all set up. The only thing we haven't done is we haven't drawn goals yet for the 3 years that we're going to play.
All right.
So
what is going to be our year one goal?
Year one goal. I don't like this one. Can I put it back?
No, that is actually my favorite one out of year one.
Year one goal. This little Tetris piece. Can I say Tetris? I can say Tetris. Polyomino.
Well, it's
like
one piece short to be a Tetris.
So, it is. That is true. So we've got this little L shape. I'm going to set here. I won't sit it with on Kitsune shrines because, well, she'll need to be placing those. We've got our other 2 goals ready to go.
It's supposed to be on top of the other cards if you follow the full setup instructions.
There we go. All right. So I believe we're set up. AJ is going to be our first player. We have the Advent tokens over here in the farming village. AJ also has the first player marker, first player card, the first dude card. And AJ, who are you playing today before we dive in?
So I went on ahead and I chose Yue, the Spirit of the Moon, Face of the Moon. I just really love her ability to work in multiple villages at once, so I thought she'd be perfect way to take down both the Kitsune and my opponent over here.
Yes, as my shrines start getting removed, I start to get madder and madder before I finally snap and cut AJ down. Or I guess Kitsune could be cut down as well as a result. So trying to balance a little bit here. So, AJ, you have something you need to do at the start of the first year before.
The other side of them correlate to a different village on the board. Different. So I flip it over, and it looks like I've got the farming village token, so I'm going to place this moon token right up here on the board, meaning that it is now, this village will always be considered my current village, in addition to the one right in front of me throughout the game, or the year.
Exactly. And we've got a little bit of an alternate setup here. Usually in a 2-player game, you're seated across the table from one another, but because AJ and I are going to be chatting and doing a little bit of an interview while we play, we're sitting on the same side of the table. So AJ's going to be playing in the village here. I'm going to be playing here. And then the villages that are kind of off the edge of the table in here are going to be the 2 Kitsune villages, and you'll see that as we play. So a little bit different of a setup from how a 2-player game normally would be, but that's a lot of just the setup of us wanting to chat while we're doing this, and so you guys can see not only the game, but you can see us as well.
Yeah, it's the Last Supper approach. We're all sitting on one side so we can look at you.
There you go. AJ, I will let you take your first action since I believe we're diving in there.
All right, so one of the interesting things I love about the first year of the game is that there's a lot of open real estate. So it becomes really easy to just add a lot of shrines without any conflict. I mean, we're all buddies here at the beginning, right?
Sure.
So I'm going to add a forest and a field, each giving me, our field gives me 2 favor, the forest gives me 2 nature, so I'm at 2 and 2. Boom, boom. But then I have to choose an opponent who gets to add a shrine in any village, and Mark is my only opponent here. Yeah. So Mark.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and add in this temple space since I get it for free, and I'm going to take a favor for that.
Good call, especially at the beginning. So that resolves Blanket of Night. I'm going to use just my standard add shrine to add 1 to this hut right here, which allows me to complete this little goal for year 1. So I'm going to gain the farming village token, since that is the village where I completed the goal, and I still have 1 left. What would I like to do? I think I'm going to go on ahead and take over the temple as well, because those
in any village, and also gain a rage. So I'm making myself angry, which is humorous. So we're going to go in this stilt house here, and then I am going to use an add shrine ability to go into this field to grab 2 favor, and then I will use my other add shrine to go down here into this little hut, and that's going to complete the pattern or the goal and give me the fishing village token, which I'll take in place on my board so that I have it. And that is the end of my turn.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Here we go. Kitsune is going to, well, it's an empty board, so nothing devastating happening quite yet.
So Kitsune is always activating to the right of whoever the first player is, so in this case she's going to be in the Holy Village, and we're going to see what she's going to do to us. We flip over the card, and I hope you folks at home can see that very well. I don't have a screen to look at. But it looks like our first command in the top left corner is replace 2. Now, if there are no shrines for her to remove in this row, are to replace, she's just going to add some. So she's going to go boom and boom, replacing the 2 are adding in this case, and that completes that command. The next thing she's going to do is attempt to remove shrines, going across this row, and I think I said row earlier when I meant column. So she looks at this row and this column, but neither mark or us have shrines there, so there's nothing for her to remove, and the card is then resolved and goes away.
Yep. All right. So now that's going to end the first turn. So now we're going to pass the first player marker over to me. We're going to do the typical quarter turn rotation of the board. And the Kitsune, who was playing over here on this side of the board, is now going to hop over here and begin wreaking havoc in the village where AJ placed shrines in the last turn. So now with myself being first player, I again am going to use my Kata ability so that I can add a shrine to a hut or stilt house and gain a rage. I want to make myself angrier and angrier because as I get madder, once I hit 4 on my rage track, it resets to 0 and I get to remove a shrine that's adjacent to one of my own. So I'm building that ability up ahead of time. I'm going to add to, I'm not doing very well in the nature department, but I'm going to add to this field to gain 2 more favor, and then I will add to this hut, again completing the goal so that I will gain the wealthy village token. So, and again, these tokens, they're worth 1 victory point at the end of the game, but if we ever have a set of 4, we can immediately cash it in for 6 points in the middle of the game, so a little bit of a bonus for collecting the full set. So AJ, it's going to be your turn now.
So I'm going to use Blanket of Night again. Yeah, I'm going to jump into this forest, giving me, if it stands up correct, there we are. I gain 2 nature, jumping up to 5, as well as a shrine right here in the field, giving me 2 favor. And then I'm going to choose Mark again to gain a free shrine because I like him so much.
All right, well, I'm going to go right here into the temple again and take a nature this time, so I'm actually on the point track.
Good call, good call. All right, and I will just go ahead and take this stilt house by using my basic add shrine right here, and that gives me the Holy Village token. Ha ha ha! We're still evenly matched.
Hey,
Yes,
hold on
we
just
are.
a second, guys.
Okay.
They're saying they don't have video, which I can see video.
They don't have
What?
video.
I can see our YouTube channel. We are also streaming there, and we'll be watching. Sorry for any troubles. We are double checking everything. You want to just take a pause and ask AJ a few questions?
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
him?
While we're trying to get that there done, we'll take a pause here. You just completed your. Well, I guess you've got 1 action left, but we'll remember that because you have your cube off the board. So, so yeah, we'll take a pause here while we try to get video back up so people can see what we're doing because that's way more important than hearing us talk. Yeah, AJ Kami-sama. First, I just will start out. For people that don't know, where did the inspiration come for the game?
So the thematic inspiration for the game just came while I was living in Japan. I lived in a hot spring, well, I did live near some hot springs, but I lived in a hotbed of Shintoism shrines. There was just shrines scattered throughout the mountainside because I was at the base of Mount Fuji, which is a that were just set out in the fields, as well as large ones with people always flooding to them every time there's a festival. And I just kind of fell in love with the whole culture. Being from the Midwest, I was just used to just Christianity over there. Wasn't a lot of variety or flavor. But anyway, I went over there and I just fell in love with the culture. I mean, I remember one time I was walking to the grocery store and all of a sudden a flood of people were coming down the street holding up a portable shrine, carrying it. And all of a sudden people were trying to get me to come over to their house to have food and like watch the festival with them. And I just wanted to go and get some chicken. I was hungry. But anyway, I recently decided I wanted to start designing board games, so I wanted to express my love for the culture, and the only way I knew how, which was to make a game about it, particularly Shintoism, which was the part I fell in love with the most.
Very cool, very cool. I like that idea, and just the aspect of paying homage to a culture that obviously a lot of people on the other side of the world from the States are very familiar with, but here in the States, there's probably a large population of folks here in the U.S. that aren't familiar with it. So it's very cool to kind of draw some attention to to that side of the world and something that people may not be familiar with, and kind of gain some familiarization, or at least pique an interest so they go learn about it after the fact. That's very cool. And so the game itself, when you were doing the design, and I've always been kind of curious about this. Has the game always been a circular board?
Yes.
It has.
So this was actually an earlier idea I had for another game. It was kind of a space game where the board rotated to represent the planets revolving around the sun. And so your spaceships may crash on the planets as they rotated. You had to take that factor.
Nice.
Gravity. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. So I took that whole rotating board idea and applied different seasons to it, which ended up becoming the villages. And just the idea of playing a Shinto spirit, because they're representations of nature or of certain things with significance in your life. I mean, it's an animistic religion, so there's spirits for so many things. And I wanted players to feel that power.
Yeah.
Just to reach out your hand and flood the fields, or to just have a tree explode into somebody's living room. So
Very
you're
cool.
trying to spread your influence through the village, which is very true. I mean, a lot of villages in Japan, when they were first setting up, they're like, all right, who is going to be the spirit of this land? Or, I mean, the priest would pray and find a connection to one of the spirits.
Nice. Yeah, I really like the rotating aspect of the board because it's one of those things that you don't see in a lot of games, if any game out there, where the board, the players are sitting in, obviously a stationary spot, but the board's rotating, and that in and of itself is changing the board state in addition to what players are doing to the board. And I think that's a really cool idea, a really unique mechanism that got built into the game. So, are we having everyone?
Sound. I think I misread it originally as somebody was having trouble with sound, but everybody else said they had sound, or somebody else said they had sound. So, everyone, if you have any problems, just make sure you let us know. And
Awesome.
the backup feed is over on YouTube, so don't hesitate to flip around and see us over there as well.
Sounds good.
That's awesome. So I think if we're good with video and such, we want to dive back into to your final action.
Jump back into the time. I know you're trying to distract me for an easy win, but
I am.
It's not going to happen. I'm going to take over the last temple so you don't get each of them, and sure up my favorite nature at 5.
All right.
All right.
Sounds
That was
good.
my last turn, so it's time for
Good
the
old
Kitsune.
Kitsune is going to wreak havoc
do it.
over here where AJ shrines are. So hopefully we get some action down here.
All right.
All right. So
I hope the camera can see that, wherever it is over
yeah,
there.
we've got a couple of them here. So we're going to be adding shrines to the village, starting in the top row. So we want to orient this toward the village. So we're going to add a shrine to the center space, and then according to the arrows, we're going to move this way first. And there is an opening, so she can add a shrine here. And the card says to add 2 shrines. We've added 2.
And now,
we get to start in the second row, which is going to replace a shrine here. So
Kitsune, I made you.
Kitsune is going to replace one of AJ's shrines here, not only taking him out of the field, but also breaking up the chain of 3 that he did have. So now Kitsune has influence in the village. And then we're looking down here at the bottom part. We're going to remove 2 shrines, starting in the center space, which in this village does not exist. So we're going to move this way, and there's nothing. We'll move back this way, and you're going to lose another shrine, thanks to Kitsune. So
Vicious little spirit.
yeah, so it really gets ruthless, and especially as the board fills up, she really starts to get more and more powerful and really starts to affect the board a lot more. So she's taken her turn. We're going to pass the first player marker back to AJ. We are going to rotate the board. It's typical quarter turn. And then we're going to hop Kitsune over here so that she can tear up what I just did in the wealthy village.
All right.
And hopefully not do too much damage to me.
Well, let's see. We're going to reset the tricks, and like I said, I mean, this first year is just kind of a great intro to the game because there's a lot of real estate. So
Yeah.
I think that's an advantage to the game, though. A lot of people say, oh, that first year is a little slow, but it's a great learning experience.
It is. It gives you a lot of opportunity because a lot of time, the first year pattern, or first year goal is usually 3 spaces, and you have 3 actions, so you can place 3 shrines. So a lot of times we see players will just use just their basic 3 actions and pop shrines in, get the goal in each of the villages as best they possibly can in the first year. It's a lot easier to do that before the board starts filling up, but it also gives you the opportunity to kind of be looking at your spirit and their abilities, and familiarizing yourself with what they can do, so you can kind of start planning ahead of time, for those future years, knowing that okay, I can see that as people start getting next to me, I can start cutting them down, or I can start moving shrines around or rearranging shrines, and so it gives you an idea of kind of what you'll be doing later, even if you're not doing it in that first year.
Yeah,
Well,
because
and
the
then
game
you get
is.
experience, right? Like after you've played the game a few times, and that first year becomes more tactical.
Yeah, and there are
Yes.
certain kami, like you've seen AJ a couple of times using Blanket of Night to be able to put 2 shrines in for 1 action cube. Hala does the same thing. 1 action cube she can put into 2 huts or stilt houses in the same village. And I mean, I've even with Ketsugetsu, I can use a basic add or remove shrine ability to just put a shrine in the village. But if I use my kata ability and add a shrine to a hut or stilt house, I also gain that rage and climb the track. So I am kind of playing into my ability a little bit in this first year. In fact, I'm going to do it again. We're going to go kata.
Well, first off, you get a free shrine from my blanket.
And then I am going to use my kata again, and I will put a shrine into this field to gain 2 favor and 1 rage. I will then place into... Oh, wait, no. This has to go in a hut, so I don't gain the 2 favor. Now, I will use Now I will place in the field and gain my 2 favor. And that gains me the farming village token because I've completed the goal. So I will take that farming village token. And for my third and final, let's see here. I really feel like I want to mess up AJ a little bit, but because I've already got the goal here, thanks to the free shrine that he gave me.
And you have the most influence right now.
I do. I do. I feel like
So confident.
I'm trying to decide if it makes. Well, no, I think I'm just going to add though and just go into this forest over here and grab a couple more nature.
Yeah, go ahead and get those victory points.
Yeah, I'm going to climb up that track a little easier. So we are over to Kitsune now, who's going to mess up my stuff now. So we're looking at a replace first. So I don't know, Kira, are you seeing these?
At an ad first.
Are you seeing these cards on screen
I am. If you because we were doing 2 cameras. So if you actually want to point it towards the smaller one, that's the main Kickstarter stream. Then what I can do is on YouTube, I can actually zoom in because the different device lets me do that. So
nice.
Turn it a little more. You got a little glare there. It's hard to see the.
That are the lights over there too.
I think it's the light. Yeah.
All right, we'll drop it down here so that we can
it's also got light colors on it, so that one wasn't helping.
Right, that is true. So we're going to do an add, and she's going to simply add.
No. Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm reading it backwards. It's upside down.
So it's upside down. So she's going to place 2 shrines. So looking at the village here, she's going to start in this space where it was open, place a shrine, and then the arrow says to move that direction first. So she'll move down. She'll be able to place a shrine here. If that space was occupied, she couldn't add, then we would come up to the second arrow and start moving this direction in the top row. So you always, the important thing to remember with the Kitsune deck, and this was something that even confused me at first, was when you change arrows, always return back to the spot that is indicated on the card. So you move down, and then before you move over, you don't move over in the bottom row, return to the basic space, and then move across for the arrow. And then we've got to replace, which there's nothing in that spot, so she's just going to add down there as well. So she's taking away the forests and fields, which is not great for us who want to gain the victory points by climbing those tracks. But you can worry about that because that's going to come your way. So we're going to pass the first player marker, rotate the board, and Kitsune is now going to jump over here to our fishing village. And now both of us can be affected by her. Let's see here. I have 3 of my fun little action cubes left, and I really want to get the Holy Village token. So I think what I'm going to do is I will use my kata again to add a shrine to a hut or stilt house. Maybe I don't want to do that just yet. Actually, yeah, let's do that. We're going to go here. That's going to give me 1 rage, which is going to hit 4. So now this is going to reset to 0, and I can remove a shrine that's adjacent to one of mine in any village, or in my current village. And we're going to pop AJ out of there. Then I will use my... That wasn't smart. I should have popped you out of there. We'll use my add shrine ability to just go into this stilt house, and my third add shrine to go into this stilt house. That's going to complete the goal. It's going to give me the Holy Village token, completing a set of 4. So then I will simply turn those tokens back into the supply and gain 6 victory points, and I'm red. So I'm going to move up 6 on the track. So now I have scored 6 points, and it is your turn, AJ, to see if you can potentially do the same.
Oh, I'm sure I can.
Menu. Let's see it then.
All right, let's go ahead and start off with Blanket of Night, because that is the go-to here. And Mark, why don't you go ahead and take your free shrine and add it to any village?
I'm going to go to a forest, and I'm going to jump up there and even those tracks out.
I thought you would do that.
Absolutely.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump in here, and that gains me my Wealthy Village token, and I complete this set as well.
All right, so we'll turn these in. We're going to give AJ 6 points. So we're tied 6 and 6 on the tracks here, or on the score track. And
for my last one, I'm going to go ahead and move this little lonely hut, because my winter pull, I can move one of my shrines in my current village, which remember this moon token means that this is my current village as well, and I can move it to any village and it will gain 1 favor or 1 nature. So I'm going to move it from the farming village to this forest down here, getting me 2 nature, and then I gain 1 favor from the ability.
very nice.
All right.
So that is that. We are over here to Kitsune, and let's see what kind of havoc Kitsune is going to wreak on us. So we're looking here, and we're going to start in this This is not good for you,
man.
AJ. Kitsune is going to come in here and remove a shrine from here, and then move this direction and remove a shrine from here. And having removed 2 shrines, that has been resolved. And now we come down to the bottom corner
Who's
here.
supposed to be the chosen
And
one?
she's actually going to add 3 shrines, starting in this space, which is occupied, and then moving this direction. So she's going to pop shrines into all 3 of these huts at the bottom of the village here. And Kira will show the card there, so you can take a look and see how that worked out. So we got Kitsune down here with a
Oh, that doesn't
chain
come
of
through very well at
3.
all because I can't see what I'm doing. There we go.
Oh, the screen. There we go. So now we've done that. We're going to pass first player.
All right.
We're going to rotate the board again.
And look at that. The 2 event tokens have met. So do you know what that means, Mark?
It means that it's pizza time. No.
Yes.
No. Well, it's Japanese.
Lots
Sushi
of
time.
pizza.
Sushi time.
Sushi go.
Sushi go. No. Advent tokens lining up means it signifies the end of the year, the end of the round. And we move to checking influence, drafting villagers, and scoring favor and nature tracks.
All right, let's do it. So we are going to start with a farming village and see who has the greatest influence. To see who has the greatest influence, you look for connected shrines in an orthogonal pattern. So in this case, Mark has 3 shrines that are connected orthogonally, which is a word that does not exist outside of the board game world, or at least you never hear it. Anyway, so he will get first pick of the villagers.
Yep. And then, unfortunately for you, Kitsune is next.
That's why I moved out of there. And it was a losing battle. I'm like, just pull the troops out.
All right, so I get to decide what I want to do here, and I'm going to peek at your tracks as well, make sure. Yep, I'm just going to simply take the farmer.
Ooh.
The farmer allows me to add a shrine to a field in the village, in the farming village that we're in. I will get so I'll add a shrine to a field. So that's going to give me 2 favor for that. Now the reason I say it's bad for AJ that Kitsune is next in line is because Kitsune competes for villagers in the village, and because she's next, she's going to eliminate the villager. Since I took one, she's going to eliminate the villager that's worth the highest victory points and basically leave AJ with whatever's left. So what's going away is the artisan. So basically Kitsune is claiming the artisan because it's worth 2 victory points, and AJ, you get this.
I bet it's a peasant.
It is not a peasant, actually.
Oh my gosh.
It is not a peasant.
That almost never happens. Alright, so with the Ronin, I may choose to lose 1 favor to gain 2 nature, or I may lose 1 nature to gain 2 favor. This is a great card if you have a huge disparity on your favor and nature tracks. For like Mark, for example, right now he has quite a bit more favor, and this really helps you even it out and gain the victory points. Unfortunately, I'm only 1 away on each of these, so there's not really a benefit for me to activate this card. So this is a may ability, meaning I don't have to. So I'm just going to set this face down to the side, and the Ronin will be worth 1 victory point at the end of the game.
Yep, absolutely. And the card that Kitsune claims just gets discarded back to the bottom of the villager deck for that village, so no one gets it. So we move over here to the wealthy village, and we have AJ has a chain of 3 shrines, orthogonal. I have a chain of 3 shrines orthogonal, but unfortunately for AJ, I am in the temple and I get to determine ties. Now that being said, if I wanted to be really nice, I could choose to let AJ get first choice of villagers, because it is my decision, but I'm not going to do that. I am going to take the noble, which is an interesting choice because it says add a shrine to a hut in this village, and looking at the village, there are not any huts available. So there's no benefit there, but she is worth 2 victory points at the end. And then I'm going to pass these to AJ, who gets to choose from.
Wow, 2 peasants. It's
So
the worst of luck.
You get a peasant. This other one will go back to the bottom of the deck in the wealthy village. Maybe if I can get my fingers under there. There we go. And we move to the fishing village over here. So we have Red, me, a chain of 3. Kitsune has a chain of 3, and AJ has a chain of 2. I'm in the temple, so I will take the 3 cards and get first choice. And then again, we're going to eliminate something because Kitsune has defeated AJ in this village again. And you're not going to be happy.
I'm sure it's peasants.
I am going to take the fisherman. This allows me to add a shrine to a stilt house in the village. And this fisherman's also worth 2 victory points at the end. It says I can complete a goal in this way. This is not going to let me complete a goal, but we'll go ahead and add to a stilt house. Kitsune is going to eliminate the villager worth the most victory points, so the peddler is going to go away. The peddler
I'm okay
is
with that. I didn't have anything to exchange.
The peddler is worth 1 victory point.
That's true.
And I didn't throw something away randomly. So
2 peasants, that is worth 1 whole victory point.
when Kitsune eliminates a villager, she always eliminates the villager worth the most victory points. If there's a tie, then you take those tied villagers, kind of shuffle them up, and randomly throw one away. So not exactly no product, no destruction, no component destruction. So so in this case, Kitsune only eliminated the peddler because it was worth 1 victory point, whereas the peasant was worth a half victory point. So that's why it hung around. And then finally, we look at the Holy Village over there, and we have looks like red again with a chain of 3. AJ and Kitsune are tied, and AJ's in the village, so you're not going to lose to Kitsune
That's true.
in here. You did lose to me again, though. I'd like to point that out.
That Kitsune just really hated me this time.
Oh, this is going to be beautiful. I'm going to take the Yamabushi, which allows me to add a shrine to a forest in this village. And there is one available, so I will add a shrine to the forest down here, which gives me 2 nature and fully balances those tracks out.
Oh, very nice. And it looks like I'm going to go ahead and take the musician, which allows me to choose between 1 favor or 1 nature, and it's worth a victory point. So I'm going to balance out my favor and nature tracks.
Nice.
Which I think means you and me are going to tie at the end of this
Discard the peasant, and so that's drafting. Now we look at our favor and nature tracks, and we score. I have a balanced track, 9 favor and 9 nature, so I'm going to score 9 victory points, which is going to take me to 15 from the 6 that I had.
I have 9 as well.
You also have 9. So we are, after the first year, AJ and I are tied at 15 points, which is very interesting. It's very odd that that happened. So we'll reset favor and nature.
We both played the game a lot.
That is true. That is true. So one thing to point out, I have 1 shrine left in my supply. So until I start getting cut down, you are limited to the number of shrines you have in your supply. So if I have no shrines, I can't place shrines on the board. So I have to start taking that into account, maybe removing my own, which is nice because I get mad when my stuff gets removed.
Oh, yeah.
So
that's your specialty.
That's my specialty. So, UA, your moon token.
Use your words,
So-
Mark.
My words.
Use your words.
I'm going to remove my moon token since we're going into the next year. I'm going to see which of the new villages I may go into. So looks like it's going to be the fishing village.
All right.
And we are also going to rotate the board so that we're not always starting in the same space each year.
Correct.
So also move the red advent token clockwise by 1. This is the only time that you move the red advent token. Usually it stays there to help mark when 4 rotations of the board have occurred.
Yep. And Kitsune is going to start to the right of our first player, which is AJ, because we passed that first player marker at the end of the last round. Oh, no, I'm backwards on that. I am backwards on that. So Kitsune is going to be to my right here in the farming village. We moved the year marker up, and we are each going to gain a 4th action cube for this year. So now we can use more of our abilities and stretch them out a little bit.
Feel the power.
And we need a new goal for this year.
All right, so we are going to get rid of this goal. It is no longer in the game, and draw the next goal, which is you must control 2 fields and 1 forest, or 2 forests and 1 field.
Wow.
So those are the most contested spaces in the game, just for the favor of nature. So this goal is actually pretty difficult.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough one. Even looking at my village here, well, this is going to be tough. I don't know that I'm going to get it. We're going to try, though. I am going to remove one of my shrines in my current village. So I'm going to use my Soul Cut ability to remove one of my shrines. So I want to pop that out of this field. Which also is going to grant me a rage, 1 rage, because I got popped. Now, I also get to replace a shrine in another village. Let's see here. This is going to come to me next. Oh, that's not bad. I don't need that though. Replace a shrine in an opponent's village. Let's replace in this field here.
All right.
That's going to grant me 2 favor. I will add a shrine to. Oh. Ugh.
Yep.
And we have 1 shrine. I have 1 shrine, which is not good.
Need to remove some stuff, bud.
I know. This is tough.
Eat on it.
I filled up the board spreading out. Well, and I got double whammy because I was spreading out and you were handing me free shrines as well. And so I was able to double place. So
trying to be a nice guy.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove shrine in a field, forest, and temple in the current village, and one of them has to be mine. We're going to Blood Moon it, because I need some shrines here. So we're going to Blood Moon, which is my 2-cost ability. This lets me remove a shrine in a field, a forest, and a temple in my current village. One of those shrines has to be my own, and I gain a rage for that. Now I'm cutting my own shrine out of the temple, which is kind of sad.
But you get a rage for that.
I do, and I'm getting Kitsune out of here. And I get a rage, yeah, because I got cut, and I get a rage for this. So I gained 2 rage, effectively, for that move, which is great. And then I will use my add shrine ability. I'm not going to be able to complete the goal just yet, but I'm going to add down here to this forest and gain 2 nature, and keep those tracks balanced. Since I see that I'm not doing anything to gain the village token and playing up that aspect of it, my focus shifts a little bit to wanting to balance the favor in nature and try to score my points that way. At least for now, we'll see what happens. Hopefully Kitsune will give me some of my shrines back.
Well, don't worry. I may be helping you out with that in
That
a
is true.
second. So first thing I'm going to do is Blanket of Night. I get to add 2 shrines to my current village, which also includes the fishing village because of my passive ability. Actually, I did that out of order. I meant to just add a shrine to my current village.
There you go.
There we go. I have plans.
Cheating.
2
I
favor.
know, I know.
And
Cheaty McCheaty.
you have 2 forests and a field as well in
I
that
do.
fishing village. So fishing village token to UA.
All right. So there is that.
UA, AJ,
And then
AOA.
I'm going to remove Mark's shrines twice. So we need to do this in order, though. So I'm going to remove 1, and I believe that puts you at 4, sir.
That puts me at 4. So that resets, and in my current village I get to cut someone down who's adjacent. Well, there's only one option, and that is AJ getting cut down out of this hut.
Ooh, I am okay with that, because look at all the shrines I can add to the board, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I have 2 shrines sitting here. I have 2 shrines I can add.
Well, I'll help you out with that even more.
I have
There's
3
another
shrines I can
shrine
add.
for
Oh, and look, I get a rage.
you. Now I will use Blanket of Night to go into the forest and field that I just opened up, gaining 2 more favor and 2 nature, and completing this.
Holy Village. Look
Woo.
at that.
That is 2 tokens in 1 turn. That is how it's done.
That's talent.
Mark, your go.
That's why I
and you
never-
get to add a free shrine.
I do.
There are some restrictions to getting multiple goals in 1 turn. Do you want to tell people about that?
Correct. So you cannot complete the same goal within a single village on 1 turn. So I couldn't sit here in the Holy Village and go add, remove, and just get a whole bunch of the Holy Village tokens.
Yep.
But I can complete it in the different villages.
Yep, exactly.
Per example, is the one I just did. I got the fishing and the holy within
Right.
a single turn.
Yeah, so had he completed the goal twice in the Holy Village, he would have only recovered. He would have only gained 1 Holy Village token for doing so.
Correct.
For my free shrine placement, I'm going to go in the temple, since I cut myself out of there earlier, and I'm going to take... I'm going to take a nature for that, because a lot of the fields are still open.
Yeah.
So we'll do that.
And that was my 4 actions. So it is time for the Kitsune.
Give me my
Ooh.
shrines back, Kitsune.
There she is.
She's down here.
All right, we're going to flip over the card, and hopefully you can see that at home. But it looks like we're going to begin by removing on the far right side, and for once it's not me.
We'll
Oh,
start here. She can't remove there, so we're going to move this direction.
well, we start here.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yep,
yes.
we always start in the top
so
one.
that gets, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I got removed.
And you gain a rage.
Boop. And then this is going to be lovely for me because we start here for the second remove action and go this direction. She's going to remove 2 shrines. So she's going to pop 2 more of my shrines out,
Pop,
giving
pop.
me 2 more rage, taking me to 4, resetting my track, and letting me remove someone who's adjacent. Now, in this case, I can't remove someone adjacent because there's no one adjacent. I've already cut them down.
What up?
And then finally, we have adding shrines in the lower, in this bottom row, this 3rd row. Here in the farming village, there are no
She's
shrines.
going to start by going up, though.
Yep, she will start by going up, so she's going to add a shrine to here. She's blocked, and she's blocked coming back, yes, this direction. So she's only going to add 1 shrine of the 2 the card called for.
Yes.
But I like Kitsune in this turn because she gave me some shrines back, so now I have a little bit more flexibility now that we're rotating the board again.
And you have to reset your track. That was nice.
Exactly.
At least for me,
So
anyway.
we're gonna pass the first player marker. We're gonna rotate the board again. We're gonna hop Kitsune over here to the wealthy village,
All right.
and
now,
AJ gets to go first.
Alright, so it looks like I mostly need to work in the other villages since I'm missing those tokens. As well as get my nature up a little bit. So, but I control both forests. It's a small issue. And all the forest spaces are taken, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Alright. In your current village. So what I'm going to do is, I already have this token, I'm going to start by removing Mark twice. One,
Rage,
two.
rage.
Rage.
Going.
Rage away, my friend.
I'm getting so angry over here, AJ.
I'm going to Blanket of Night, adding 2 shrines. Boom and boom. There we are. Getting 2 more favor. And Mark, you get to add a shrine for free.
Fantastic. I'm going to go into this field.
Fantastic.
And, so that's going to give me 2 favor. And that also has 2 fields, or 2 forests.
2 forests and a field.
2 forests and a field. However, I can only complete the goal on my turn.
That is correct.
So even though I just gained the goal, I do not get the token because it wasn't my turn when I completed the goal.
And I've just completed the goal in the fishing village, however, so I will gain the fishing village token again, so now I have 2 of those, which is great for completing future sets. And I'm going to go on ahead and move myself out of here. Let's go on ahead and move out of the field into, where did it go?
There is no forest. Another field.
Jump over here into another field, jumping my favor up to 8.
All right. So I am going to.
And I gain 1 nature for using Lunar Pull.
Oh, this is true. All right. So I'm in the same boat. I need nature more than I need favor, but the fields are taken. However, I could choose to remove shrines. I could Blood Moon again, but I don't want to do. Actually, yeah, I do. Do I want to do that? Because I could get. Do that. No, because that's not going to help me. So we are going to go ahead and just use a regular, just a basic add into this field. It's going to give me 2 favor, but it's going to now I've got 2 forests and a field. So now I can take the farming village token for completing the goal, since I did that on my turn. I am going to remove. Let's see where else. Let's look and see. It's not going to do me any good there either. Okay, so what I will do instead is I'm going to go ahead and do my kata again to place a shrine in a hut. And we will go here. I probably should have put that here so that I could have a bigger chain. And we'll make do. Oh, and that gives me a rage for doing that with my kata. Then we'll do my basic add shrine to go into this field. Gaining a lot more favor than I need or want. And then I'm actually going to do a remove shrine ability, and I'm going to remove this shrine, which is going to pop my rage up to 4, resetting and allowing me to remove one of these Kitsune shrines.
She does get in the way.
Out of the way. Yes, she does. So that is my turn. So Kitsune over here in the wealthy village. Let's see what happens.
Alright, so this is going to be our Kitsune card for the turn, and it looks like what we're going to be doing is first removing 2 shrines, so on the second row. Okay, for a second I thought she was removing 2 of mine again. But she's removing 1 there. She's going to she's going to go down. However, there's no shrine right there, so then she's going to come back up and go to the right, removing 1 of Mark's.
Rage!
So we each took 1 hit. I think that's pretty fair. Then she's going to attempt to add shrines on the far left side, or the far left column. However, both spaces are already taken by Mark and I, so she's not going to add there. And then she's going to replace, starting here, she's already in there, so she's going to follow up and add a shrine to this field right here. Boom, boom, boom.
There we go. Alright, so I got my 1 rage. Thank you, Kitsune. Okay, so we've done that. We're going to flip first player back over here, Kitsune over here, rotate the board again, and we have 2 turns left. We can tell because the red and the blue advent token are directly across from each other, so we have 2 actions, or 2 turns left here. And I need to see if there's a way that I can grab what I need here. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do my Blood Moon again, removing a shrine from a field, a forest, because I have to remove 1 of mine, and the temple. So there's your 2 shrines back. I remove one of mine, so I gain a rage, and my ability gives me a rage. So Blood Moon's a nice way to climb that track quickly. Then I will add... That probably wasn't... That's not going to give me my token. That's okay. I'm going to add to the temple and take a nature for that, and then I'm going to add to this forest and grab 2 more nature. Again, because the goals aren't working out for me this year. So I'm going to focus on the tracks.
Well, which is a good fallback, and one of the things I do like about the game is that there are multiple paths to victory.
Exactly. Being able to
good
switch
fallbacks.
up and change your strategy on the fly. If you see you can't get the goal, then you can focus on those favor and nature tracks. If you see that favor and nature, because fields and forests are full, you can focus more on those goals and try to do that set collection aspect and earn your points that way. And then, of course, you always have the villagers that are going to give you end game points.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you're in the village.
And, I mean,
To
if
claim.
you are just completely dominated in a village, you can always, 90% of the kami have the ability to move into the other villages. Start working on the next part of the game.
Exactly.
Always think ahead in this, especially looking in the village to your immediate right. You need to start pre-planning and thinking, like, what can I do to start setting up for this next village?
Yeah, absolutely. And so we're getting ready. Did we pass first player? No, you haven't taken your turn yet. I already took my turn.
No. I'm going to go ahead and remove one of your shrines for that.
Hey,
which
look,
means
that hits me at 4.
it's
We're
your
going to
4.
reset, which is going to let me remove a shrine adjacent to one of mine. So I'm going to pop AJ out of this.
I'm hurt.
Get out of my forest, AJ. Although you probably wanted me to do that because you want that forest, don't you?
I kind of do. All right.
I realized it after I did it. He wants the
shrines.
nature.
Then I'm going to go on ahead and, what was that? I'm going to Lunar Pull to move this shrine right here, back over here and gain the 2 nature. And I will also gain 1 more nature for using Lunar Pull.
There we go.
And then I will Blanket of Night in this village to gain 2 forests,
Whoa.
getting me 4 nature. Now my tracks are more balanced. You go on ahead and gain a free shrine in any village.
And you get that.
And I will gain the
Wealthy
multi-village
village.
token
I
at
get
the
a
end of
free
all this.
shrine in any village, and all of the forests are taken. All the temples are taken. I suppose that I will just work on. I think I'm going to go in this field since I know this village is going to rotate to me. Going in this field helps me work toward that goal. So I'm going to grab 2 favor, even though I don't need it. But I'm looking at hopefully getting the goal in this village. So Kitsune down here, who's probably going to just wreak havoc on my plans to.
Let's see what she does. First thing she's going to do is attempt to add shrines, moving here and then here, but those are both filled. So then she's going to move to the left, adding 1 shrine in the middle there.
Adding a shrine to the middle, and then she's blocked. So she only gets 1 shrine added. Then she comes down to the bottom row and is removing 2 shrines, starting in the middle and going this direction first, and then coming back this direction. So AJ loses both shrines on the bottom row.
I did not appreciate that.
And you didn't gain any rage for that like I would have.
Almost
So-
put that back on top.
Alright, so Kitsune is taking her turn. She hops back over.
Jump over
First
here.
player passes, and we rotate the board again.
Alright.
And AJ, you are our first player. Do we have any questions that are coming in the chat at all?
No, but I think this would be a good time to pause and
Yeah.
get some thoughts from you. So I would think it would be really great for everyone to hear more about how Kitsune came to life in the first place.
So we really wanted a 2-player variant to the game, especially since a 3 to 4 player game is very limited on who exactly meets those player numbers. And a lot of people like to sit down and play with their husband or wife, significant other, or just sometimes your dog or a cat if you're like me and desperate. So unfortunately, when we tried playing the game just 2 players, there was a lot of real estate and no real conflict in the game, which is one of the major driving forces, is you need to be able to add and remove and not just race to see who gets the most shrines out real quick. That gave too many kami an advantage. Yue, for example, with her Blanket of Night, just throwing down shrines constantly. So yeah, the game was very dull. We're like, all right, what can we do? And we had recently came up with an AI for Western Legends. Like, okay, how about we work on an AI for Kami-sama? I mean, I love those kind of systems, especially the ones done by Stonemaier Games.
Yeah.
That appear in Viticulture, Scythe, and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
those
So,
Automa decks they do are fantastic.
oh my gosh. So we wanted to take our own whack at an Automa deck, and we ended up coming up with the Kitsune. Now, for those who don't know, and I finally had a a soapbox to stand on. I'm going to go ahead and talk about Japanese culture. The Kitsune is a nine-tailed fox spirit, and whenever they gain their ninth tail, they gain telepathic abilities where they can actually see or hear anything in the world, according to legend. So I thought that'd be perfect for an AI who's able to sneak in and out of every village and just kind of causing little disruption with her plans.
Yep.
Kitsune are also known for just being mischievous little creatures, often causing havoc and trouble for the heroes of the game.
Exactly. And I really like the aspect of, and in fact, we were talking about earlier as we were setting up that Kitsune's become much meaner than she was in the first iterations of the game. I mean, there was an iteration where she didn't compete for the villagers at all. So she really was just there to break up your goals.
The first version, I balanced the numbers to where it was how many actions players on average took.
Yep.
The thing is, she's just kind of wandering around doing stuff. So while we have the same number of actions, you and I have very precise actions. We know where we're going. And since Kitsune couldn't mimic that, it was just very... she messed around with a few things, but not by much.
Yeah.
She didn't take out 3 shrines or like destroy all my forests and stuff like that.
Exactly.
So I took Sid Meier's advice when, well, not Sid Meier's, but on their development team, they would just start with doubling a number to move in the right direction instead of just like incrementing the numbers by 1 or 2 at a time. So I'm just like, I doubled the values of everything. We sat down and like, oh my gosh, this is fun. The Kitsune is actually destroying and just causing all this havoc for players.
Well, and even after the first round, I mean, after we got through the first year and is drafting villagers, 2 of the 4 villages she beat you in influence.
Oh my
and
gosh.
you lost villagers to her. So that's something that the tweaking and just making her more aggressive and a little bit more mean. And she really does become a threat on the board because exactly the first couple of iterations where we've played it was, okay, shrines are popping on the board. Okay, I have to spend an action to move that Kitsune shrine out of my way so I can get a goal. But that was about the extent of it. Was, she was just in the way for the goals. But now that she's competing for the villagers as well as doing more than she was before, as opposed to adding a shrine here or there, I mean, she's got cards that'll add, 4, 5, 6 shrines in one turn, which is it's very mean. And
then, she controls the fishing village. How did that happen?
Yeah, exactly. Controlling the fishing village down here, so we're gonna lose a villager to Kitsune down here. It's insane.
She wanted some fish.
She did. Did fox eat fish?
I imagine they are carnivores.
That's probably true.
If they get a chance.
Travis Hancock says proud of you. Can't wait to get his copy.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Travis.
Very cool.
Hopefully I'll see you at Moon City Con, or at least next time I'm in Springfield.
Springfield, Missouri.
Springfield, Missouri, yes. Where
All
Travis has recently moved back to, so I need to go back there and give him a high five.
Nice. Very cool. So we need to we have what, 1 turn left in this year? Yes.
Yes.
We have Advent tokens. And that's the beauty of the Advent tokens. We just took some time away from the game chatting and not paying attention to the board, but we can look at the board and see where the Advent tokens are and know exactly we still have a turn to go before we start drafting villagers and such. So that's a really neat, as you're looking at the board, you see, okay, I've got 1 turn to do what I need to do before we start drafting villagers. It again helps you play into that strategy a little bit more.
And unfortunately, it looks like no matter what I do, I won't be able to complete the village token in the farming village. However, I have backup plans.
I know.
So, first things first, I'm going to use Blanket of Night to add 2 shrines to my current village, but not this current village, this one. Alright, so I'm going to go over here and gain 4 nature, which actually maxes me out at 12. Mark, why don't you take your free shrine over there?
Oh, hey, look, I can't take a free shrine over there.
Oh, I just did that out of order. Oh, I ruined all my plans. But you get to add a shrine to any village.
It's any village. It's not just my current village. And we still don't have any forests that are open. We have no fields that are open. Well, that doesn't help me.
What else are we supposed to be doing, AJ?
We have to do the distraction thing.
Oh.
Fishing village is full. I think I am going to go... I'm going to go right here because my rage likes being adjacent to people. So... In fact, I'm going to go down here. That way I can hopefully pop you out of that forest.
That's smart.
And do that.
All right. Well, I now gain a fishing village token. My plan was to use Eclipse to complete the goal, but I just realized I completed the goal too early.
Yes.
So now I have 3 fishing village tokens, and I'm just praying for a peddler at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't care. You've only got 1 this year. I'm just stacking them up.
I've only got 1 token right now.
All right. So I'm
I'll
going
throw
to...
a peddler up in the links if anybody wants to look at the peddler again since he says he's hoping for it. Give me just a second.
I love the peddler.
The peddler is great. He allows you to exchange one of your village tokens, which in a situation like this, I want to exchange my fishing for the farming and complete the goal. But what I just now did was I lunar pulled, moving my shrine out of the temple over here into the field, giving me a chain of 3 influence and boop boop 2 favor, and because I use lunar pull, boop 1 more. Yes, the sound effect is necessary.
Boop.
And
White.
I will go on ahead and add a shrine back into here to gain 1 more
Whoa.
favor in nature. I am maxed, and I control the temple. And just to add insult to injury, I'm also going to ruin Mark's
Rage!
chain there. So now the Kitsune will win. If I can't get it, nobody does.
Man, that's brutal. All right, so it's my turn here. Here, where this village is full of stuff. And I am going to... I honestly think I'm going to do... Because I want to have... I really...
I gain a holy village token as well.
Oh, no. More points for you. And I honestly, as much as I want to use my abilities this turn, I want to get this fishing village token. I need these forests as well to balance my tracks out. So I'm going to remove AJ from this forest.
What?
And I'm going to use
I'm
a
a little
basic
bit
add
enraged.
to add to the forest. And that's going to give me 2 nature. I'm going to use another remove ability to remove AJ from that forest.
Oh, man.
And I'm going to add
don't
to
mess
this
with
forest.
the moon, man.
That's going to give me 2 more nature and give me 2 forests and a field. So I'm going to gain the fishing village token, adding that to my board, and balancing my tracks at 10. Not quite as good as the 12, but I got balanced toward the end and can hopefully...
Fair enough.
And let's just hope Kitsune wreaks some havoc over there and
Let's see.
take some of your stuff out.
There's our Kitsune card for the turn, and it looks like we're going to start by adding shrines. Oh my gosh, 3 shrines. So, she's going to start adding here. Can't. Oh,
And she's going to
she's
go
going to go down, and then across. I'm going off memory here, so. All right.
Now we're going to do
We
it
are
this way
good
so you
there.
can see it better.
All right.
So down and then that way,
Down
so she
and
got
that
1
way.
shrine in.
She got 1 out of her 3. Oh,
No!
I'm so sorry, Kitsune. And then starting here, she's going to remove Mark.
Rage!
Going down, Mark goes up in a rage. Then she comes back up and goes to the left. She should have started to the left. 1, 2. Anyway,
So
she
another
removed 2 of
rage.
Mark's either way.
I get raged out because I got 2 shrines back. And I really wish she would have taken 1 more because I would love to pop that 4. But it's not going to happen. So that completes that card.
Going ahead.
Kitsune
and
will
jump
jump.
her over. Knock over one of my shrines in the
We're going
process.
to rotate the
And
board.
rotate, but
Rob says
What's
I'll be playing 2-player probably 80% of the time. The work you've put into making Kitsune more competitive is much appreciated.
Awesome.
well, thank you, Rob. It is, yes, I'm going to try and make all my games 2-player because that's where I play 80% of my games as well.
Yep.
Same here.
I'm not
Exactly.
allowed over at the other people's houses, so I just
No.
kind of play alone with my cats.
We allow him to come over and play. And by the way, he keeps talking about playing games with his cats. His cats actually have thumbs. It's creepy. No kidding. So they can actually place their own shrines.
They're actually
No.
small children. I'm just dressed in a lot of fur.
So, yeah. So we've lined up the Advent tokens again. We've come to the end of the year. We've talked about cats with thumbs, which is odd, but would you expect anything less? So we've lined up the Advent tokens, come bring to the end of year 2. So we're going to draft villagers again, starting in the farming village.
Woo! And it looks like Kitsune is our winner.
So we're going to draw 3 cards.
We're going to remove the one with the highest VP.
Remove the one with the highest VP.
It's not that
So these are both worth 2 victory points apiece, so we're going to toss one of them out. And then AJ...
So
having
Mark and
the-
I are tied. Even though he has 4 shrines in this village, I control the one that matters in the temple because we are tied at a chain of
Kitsune
1.
eliminated this.
So I get to determine the winner of the tie. I choose me. And I'm going to go on ahead. The hunter. Well, I don't want you getting the hunter
Oh.
in this village. So, oh yeah, the hunter is actually really good. I'm going to replace one of your shrines. In
Why is
the
the
forest.
hunter good?
The hunter is one of the few cards that allows you to replace and a
Yes.
forest, or add, and you can complete a goal in this way. Sadly, I won't complete the goal in the one village where I need it, but she is still worth 2 victory points, and I took some of Mark's shrines and denied it.
Now, for those that are wondering and watching, you replaced one of my shrines, which
Yes.
removed a shrine. Does that count for Kitsune or for Ketsugetsu's rage?
Yes.
Yes, it
Any
does.
time when a Ketsugetsu
So,
shrine is removed.
Even though my shrine was removed with a replace ability, the shrine was removed. So that's going to take me to pop AJ out of this forest over here.
No!
And I got past the Traveler, so this allows me to gain a fishing village token.
The one you were fighting
for. Yeah, I need some more. So I got 2 fishing village tokens, and then
Call me when you get 3.
Is it traveler, right?
yep, that's a Traveler. Traveler pops out there. Let's spread these out. Okay, so we are over to the wealthy village now,
Wow.
and this is more chains in the wealthy village. I have a chain of 1. AJ has a chain of 1. Kitsune has a chain of 1.
Oh
So-
my gosh, Mark gets to choose whether or not the Kitsune or I go second.
Oh, I love it. Let's see what happens here. I am going. Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Oh, is it 2
I'm
peasants?
going to take the advisor, which is going to give me 3 favor, and he's worth 3 points at the end of the game.
Oh,
So I'll gain my 3 favor, and hoping that I can find something that gives me 2 nature to max these tracks out.
2 villages for it to happen.
And I'm going to choose, just to be funny, I'm going to choose Kitsune, and we're going to remove a the villager with the most victory points. They're worth the same amount of victory points. So Kitsune is going to remove a peasant, and AJ is going to get a peasant.
That is like my 4th peasant.
So
It's
So
going
you
to
got
be
2 points.
there you go.
peasant revolt is incoming.
So yeah, so that's beautiful. So I like the fact that the non-existent AI player gets to beat you.
Well, she's actually going to beat both of us in this next
Yes.
village.
So again, which she won over here in the farming, now she's going to win again in the fishing village because she has 4 shrines, and this does count as 4, even though it's not your Catan longest road chain.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
is they're, as long as they're orthogonal, it's a cluster of orthogonal shrines that count. So
Yeah,
this
so
is a chain of
branching
4.
is what I've heard.
Exactly. Kitsune is going to remove the villager with the most victory points, which is going to be the 2 victory point fisherman, is getting eliminated.
Ouchies.
And then we look here. AJ's got a chain of 2. I have a chain of 2, and I am in the temple.
So he's going to choose himself.
I'm going to choose myself, and I'm going to take the geisha for 1 favor, which is not going to move because I'm already maxed out on that, but she's worth a victory point at the end.
And I bet it's a peasant.
AJ?
It's a peasant! Woo!
Beautiful.
It is-
I want something to get nature in the... Although Kitsune is going to... Oh, wait a minute.
Both Kitsune and I are going to go before you.
Yes.
Aha.
So Kitsune and AJ are tied.
But Mark,
I
is
get to determine, do I want to throw a card away before I let you choose? Yes, I think I do. So Kitsune is going to win the tie. And...
That's the Mystic, isn't
oh,
it?
oh.
Oh,
This is the card that I need.
one of the best
This
cards.
is the Mystic who would have gained 3 favor or 3 nature. I obviously would have taken a 3 nature, but Kitsune is going to throw this away because this is the card worth the most victory points. Worth 2 victory points at the end
What a
of the game.
stinker.
Now AJ gets to choose between the other 2 cards.
All right, and oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to be taking the Ronin, and because again that's a May ability, I'm not going to activate it because I am maxed at 12 and 12, and we have a lovely consolation prize for Mark. Mark,
I get a beautiful peasant, and I did not get to add my 2 nature that I wanted. So we've now drafted all 4 villages. We now score for our favor and nature tracks. AJ, you maxed out 12. So you're going to go from 15 to 27. I have 12 of favor, but only 10 in nature, so I'm going to score 10 points. So we're at 27 and 25 currently.
Laura says,
Going to-
hooray for Mark.
Reset. We're going to reset. We're going to move the year track up to year 3, each of us gaining our 5th action cube. So we'll have more actions to spend again in this 3rd and final year. And we are going to rotate the board again.
Rotate that board.
Rotate the red Advent token again, not to get mixed in with the Holy Village tokens.
So we
We-
should
And
go
we
ahead and
have-
finish explaining, but we should, before you start the next year, we should hear some more from AJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
So AJ, go ahead and go ahead and pop that off of there so we don't forget to do that. And Holy Village, okay. With the kami themselves, we've got 8 kami in the base game, and then we've got 4 in the expansion.
Correct.
The kami themselves, where did they? I mean, obviously they're based in the Shintoism, the spirits of the land, but the names are these actual kami that exist in that religion? Are they?
Not that we've seen anyway. And the interesting thing about Shintoism is that it is an animistic religion in the sense that it has or anything with significance can have a spirit. And not all of them are named, because not all of them have even been discovered, which is the idea behind Kami-sama. You are a small or fledgling spirit fighting for your right to be the Kami-sama, the chief spirit of these 4 villages. Because Kami means spirit, and Sama is an honorific added on to something, meaning that you are in charge of, are the head of this group. So in this case, it is Kami, spirit, and chief spirit.
Nice. Very cool. And so we've got, a bunch of different kami that are there. Can you speak a little bit about the kami themselves? I mean, obviously, we've seen just the 2 that we have on the table here with Yue and Ketsugetsu, obviously playing very differently. Are there kami in the game that are similar to one another, or are they completely different as far as asymmetry is concerned?
So as far as asymmetry is concerned, we made sure that nobody really plays too similar in the game. I mean, we wanted each time you sit down to have a unique experience. So, I mean, you're sitting here and we're playing this interesting game where I want to remove you, but I don't, because you're Getsu, and I'm fighting on half of the board 3/4 out of the year.
Exactly.
Just because I'm in the mood. It creates this interesting tension, and you have a lot of great removal. I have no extra removal.
Right.
So again, we're each just creating a different dynamic. Whereas if I was Ginsui, the Death Spirit, we would both be removing on the board, creating a different continuous board state where there's a lot of real estate. Whereas you and I are having to really fight for a lot of it.
Yeah.
Luckily, the Kitsune has done her part of removing and keeping some of this stuff nice and fresh. But each time you play the game, the kami just interact with the world differently, even depending on the player. Like we saw a live play the other day where somebody was playing Hala, who usually adds a lot of trains. Yeah. She was using the Harvest ability to just clear at the board constantly. So
yes, that was an interesting playthrough to watch, because you're right, when we play Hala, it's generally, I'm going to spread my shrines all over the board, but in that playthrough we were watching, she was using the Harvest ability and pulling her own shrine out of the field to remove other people's shrines, which
is so smart.
And
it was 75 points.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a high score. 75.
Pretty sure the first time I played with Hala, that's how I played with her. I fell in love with her really quickly, and she was my favorite till I met my other favorite, my new favorite.
I was impressed. The thing that impressed me about that playthrough that we were watching on Tuesday night, we were there.
That was with Derek and Lizzie, by the way.
Yeah, Derek and Lizzie over on Board Game Spotlight did a playthrough Tuesday night, and they do every Tuesday night. They do something. They stream something, and they always stream 2 player, just the 2 of them, which is awesome, because a lot of people want to see how games play 2 player. We've got a lot of games now that are out there 3, 4, 5, 6 player, but how do they play 2 player? Because again, we've already discussed it. A lot of people play 2 player most of the time with a significant other, or a child, something like that. There's always a situation where there's a need for a 2 player game, and so I do like how they focus on the 2 player aspect. So they featured the 2 player Kitsune deck on Tuesday, and what impressed me was she was using the ability, Hala's ability to remove those shrines, and she had looped the score track. Score track goes up to 50. She had looped the score track before the end game scoring with the villagers, which usually when we see the score track looped, it's usually because someone's sitting at 48, 49, or even 43 points and has picked up 15, 17 points through villagers, but she'd already looped the track before she even added her villagers in, which was pretty crazy. So yeah, this and I love the aspect of, you're talking about the kami themselves. I mean, even looking at the kami, if I look at Ketsugetsu, who has this rage track that goes from 0 to 4, and then you look at Korore, the fear spirit, who has a track that goes from 0 to 4, it looks exactly the same. They both have a token that climbs from 0 to 4, but the way those tracks are manipulated is completely different between the 2, because mine, I climb the rage. I don't spend that rage. I climb, and then I get so mad that I just lash out and I reset. And with that fear spirit, she gains the fear tokens, or she gains those fear points, and then she spends them to boost her abilities, which is a unique way. So even though, okay, well, that person's got 4 tokens like that one does, that spirit's got 4 tokens, and this one over here has 4 tokens, they're completely different. I mean, I even look at Yue with her 4 tokens and think of Daymok and his 4 seed tokens, completely different.
Exactly.
So it's again, that replay factor. It's another level of strategy to, okay, I've now maybe I think I've mastered how to play Ketsugetsu, so maybe I want to grab Shize out of the box and start working on mastering her abilities and how they affect the board. And it just completely ups that replay factor. And even if I've mastered Ketsugetsu, I'm going to play him differently based on the other kami on the table, which I think is a really incredible design. And just, again, it pushes that asymmetry to
whole new level.
Yeah, it's a lemming. Literally, we have
to the max.
add and remove shrines in current village, and everything else is completely different among. So even though I may master these abilities, you're playing UA now, I'm playing him a certain way. If you were playing Hala, I may switch up how I'm playing it because I know my opponent has certain abilities that I need to be able to counteract. So I just absolutely love the replay value on this. Not just with the Kami abilities, but the goals are different every time you play. I mean, you play with 3 goals every game, and there's 20 in the box, 24, something like that. I mean,
we've had some people comment that this almost feels like a MOBA, the multi-online thing, because you have a character with 4 different movesets, an ultimate and a passive ability. I mean, those games have some of the most replayability out of video games in the world.
Absolutely.
So we've kind of unintentionally captured a part of that spirit.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen questions come up online on Facebook. I was looking at one earlier today, in fact, where someone had made the comment that there were a couple of games they were looking at, but their concern was, do I spend that money on a game that it's a scenario story driven game? Do I spend that money, and then how's the replayability once I've played through those stories? And it plays into the replay factor. It's insane. I mean, every game we've played, and I can say this, legitimately, every game we've played has been different. I mean, there have been games where I've been doing great, and there have been games where I'm way back in the back of the pack, which is more often than not.
I would even say that you can play the same character in a different game depending on who else is playing which characters everyone else is playing can completely change how you play your character.
Yeah.
I realized I had one game I played the primary or the top part of the ability for
Korore?
Korore. I got caught on my words there. And then in the next game, I wasn't playing that one as much. I was playing the bottom one, and it was because of who I was playing against. And I think that's really interesting. And when you're talking about how many different Kami are in the game, and then you're talking about our backers who are getting new Kami with every stretch, every few stretch goals here, we've had 3 Kami unlocks so far. We have one more coming here very closely.
Unbu's about to be
and
unlocked.
welcome to all of our new backers. I see several of you who are watching have backed. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's exciting to have new backers come
closer.
on board, and that brings us much closer to adding things to that Awakened expansion that all of you are getting, all the backers are getting at no additional cost.
So
and we are
even
still
more
a small
Kami.
company.
Just even more Kami, adding more variety to every game. So go ahead, AJ, I apologize.
We are still a small company. I know people kind of looking at our growth, but this kind of stuff does not happen without all of you coming in and supporting our games. I mean, that is why we are on Kickstarter, because Mark, do you have the 30,000 to make the game?
No, I
none
don't.
of us do. This doesn't happen without you guys, and we really appreciate it. We are pouring our heart and souls into giving you the best games that we can.
Absolutely, and we'll have, like I said, we're closing in on Unbu. I know he was getting close. So.
Oh my gosh, coin flipping in a game, people.
Yep, coin flip. That's a little bit of a
that was
little
a
teaser. Coin flipping in a game.
You know how much my husband loves playing with him.
So fun.
Unbu is a lot of fun.
Can't wait for you guys to see Unbu. Let's get that next stretch goal
Yes,
unlocked.
I'm
and
excited.
Let's move into year
3.
The final year of the game.
We did draft. Okay.
Yes, we are drafted. We've scored our tracks. We just need a new goal.
We need a new goal. What's the new goal, Mark?
Let me draw from. We have one stilt house and 2 fields or 2 forests.
Well, good. We've already completed most of that.
Yeah, that's going to be
interesting point, though, about if
Yeah.
you already got it completed when the turn starts. Do you guys want to talk about what that means?
Yeah, so let's use the fishing village as an example, because if I look here, I have a stilt. The village looks when it rotates toward me, and it's my turn to start playing in the fishing village. Do I automatically gain that token?
You do not, and you wouldn't gain it from any village where it's already completed. You have to add to this goal in some way. So in this case, if Mark simply adds a shrine to a stilt house, or to this missing field over here where he doesn't control, then he completes the goal. You do not automatically gain the goal. You must add to one of these spaces in some way.
You have to take some kind of an action, and it has to be on your turn as well, as we saw earlier.
There is one that you must remove all the shrines around you. So in that case, you would have to remove a shrine adjacent, but that's another goal. So yes, you must always contribute to the goal in some way to get the token.
Absolutely. And you are our first player in the fishing village.
Right.
Look at all the space you have to work in.
And my 5th action cube. This is ultimate UA here.
Here we go.
We're coming at you. Alright, so it looks like I still need that farming village token, and I am nowhere near completing it right now.
And
So,
you get in those stilt houses.
that hurts. But you know what I can do?
You can eclipse. And
You are
that's gonna hurt
correct.
me.
Thank you, Mark.
You're welcome.
Alright, and just for that, for helping me out, I'm going to make sure it's your shrine that's replaced.
Oh, hey,
So,
rage.
there is that for you. I added a shrine to a stilt house, completing the goal in the Holy Village. But wait, there's more. You as Eclipse, instead of gaining the village token where I completed the goal, I can choose where I complete
So
the
you still
goal.
want the Holy Village
I do
token.
not want that holy. Get that out of here. Give me that wheat. There
Holy
it is.
Village.
It's, oh my gosh, perfect. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't even want to be next to you on the score
6
track.
more points takes AJ to 33 points and pulling ahead probably for the game. No, I doubt it.
At this point in the game, I think everybody's probably got. If you looked at Kami-sama and you saw how pretty it was, you might have thought that it was a very nice game. But this is no Tokaido peaceful journey. This
Oh man.
is definitely different.
And I think that's why people think that when you see the artwork, and I've had many people say they see the artwork on the villager cards and immediately think Tokaido because it's got that same kind of art, that aesthetic to it.
Right.
And so it's, oh, well, this is going to be a nice, peaceful, laid-back game. And in the first year, that's mostly true.
Yeah.
When you get to years 2 and 3 and the board is filled up, it gets really, I've got to, and it's not so much that I don't like AJ and I'm moving his stuff off the board just to get back at him and get nasty.
Well,
I need him out of my way to complete the goal, so I
said you
have
don't like
to
me,
move
though.
him.
Well, and to
yeah, but I didn't want that on camera.
You're gaining the favor of the villagers.
Exactly. I want the villagers to like me. I don't want them to like AJ.
Yes.
So
As much.
There can only be one Kami-sama. So
Exactly.
you will have to fight people.
Exactly. So you've taken your first bit of actions there.
First bit of action.
That first action, you've only
You
taken
guys
one
are
action.
really good at not letting me completely distract you. Well done.
I know. there's a wall here that people can't see. No.
I'm going to use my, wrong thing. Lunar pool, there it is, somewhere on my board. I'm going to move this shrine out of the field to this forest over here. Allow me to gain 2 nature. And I'm going to go ahead and get a 3rd nature for using Lunar Pool because I'm about to add a shrine to this field.
You do that.
Just went out of, so boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to fight the Kitsune Menace if Mark isn't. I'm going to go ahead and remove this one right here. So now we reign supreme in that
And you
village.
broke up the chain.
I broke up the chain.
All right. Well, AJ.
Mark.
So I'm over here in the farming village. I have a farming village token, and I have 2 fishing village tokens. I need holy and I need wealthy. And I don't have a stilt house. Well, okay. And you already got your farming village, so I don't really need to pay much attention to that. So I am going to add a shrine to a hut or stilt house using my kata. I'm going to go in this stilt house here and gain a rage for that because I'm angry.
Aw.
And then I am going to, let's see here. I am in a stilt house over there. Oh, but I'm not. That doesn't do me any good.
For those of you that watch The Good Place, we've started to call what Mark is doing right now the Chidi syndrome.
Yes, The Good Place is a great show.
And I still need to watch season 2.
I'm going to.
If they would put the whole thing on Hulu.
They should. They really should because it's a great series. I am going to go ahead and do my blood. Do I want to blood moon it?
You want to blood moon it.
Blood moon-
It's the
Oh,
biggest piece of art on your card.
Before I do that, I added to a stilt house, so I have a stilt house and 2 fields. So I
Yes.
get the farming token, farming village token.
Stop rubbing your farming tokens in my face.
I'm going to. I'm actually going to do my soul cut and remove one of my shrines from my current village, which allows me to replace a shrine in another village, and I'm going to replace AJ here,
I fought the Kitsune instead of you. This is
and that gives me a
still.
stilt house and 2 fields in this village. So I gain a fishing village token. I'm just piling up farming. I'm just farming and fishing. Forget holiness and wealth. So, and I get a rage for removing my own shrine. I'm going to add into this forest to grab. Oh, and I forgot my 2 favor for going in that field. Go here for 2 nature, and then I think I just want to work on pattern here, or not pattern, but on chain. So we're going to go into this field, and we're going to go into this stilt house. So that I get a little bit of a chain here, and currently standing in first place for influence in the farming village.
You ready for it?
Not really.
What's
She's
doing
over
anyway?
here. No, Kitsune is actually over here because you're the first player.
Oh, you
To
are
your
right.
right.
Boom, boom, boom.
We did not jump her.
All right, so there is our fox or Kitsune token for this round, and it looks like we're going to begin by removing shrines across the top row, starting with mine. Why Kitsune? But then she's also going to take care of Mark,
Rage.
who's going to pop on his
Who's going
rage
to
track.
hit me on 4, reset, and I get to remove an opponent who's adjacent to one of my shrines, which would be here, here, or here.
Yeah, I thought that was it. All right, so there's the 2 remove, and then
Like
she's going to
Kitsune.
attempt to add, going up from right here. So she's going to go boom,
There.
and boom.
And here. So now she's controlling influence
Again.
in the wealthy village.
They've made her too mean. And then she's going to replace this shrine right here.
Rage!
Rage!
All right. I have 1 shrine in that village, and I need that token.
Isn't it great to get a prize every time somebody removes one of your things?
Rage. It is. It is. I like it.
All right, the board is then going to rotate. The Kitsune is going to jump clear across the mountain, and the Kami-sama first player token
Boom.
passes.
I get all my actions back, and I need to figure out now. I need a stilt house, and I need at least probably the forest would be the easiest thing to do. And I need the holy
Diver?
That's not going to help either. Holy diver. We're going to just do a simple remove ability and get AJ out of this stilt house.
How would you do that?
I don't know. We're going to use my kata to add a shrine to a stilt house and gain a rage. And then I'm going to use my fun. AJ, I hate to do this to you. No, we're going to
You
remove.
don't.
We're going to remove you out of the forest. I'm going to use a basic add to the forest, which is going to give me 2 nature, and I have a stilt house and 2 forests, so that's going to grant me the holy village token. I am now 1 away, and then I will use, just for the fun of it, I'm going to use my soul cut. I'm going to remove this shrine out of a village, and then I get to replace an opponent's shrine in another village. And I'm going to come over here and replace Kitsune
Ooh.
in this stilt house.
All
Do I wanna
right,
do
that was
that?
5.
I don't want to do that because I have an ability that lets me add to a stilt house in any village. So we're going to replace you in this forest
Oh, that's even meaner.
and take 2 nature because I have an ability to add to a stilt house later, and that's the token I need. Your
Okay,
turn.
let's see. Well, first I'm going to remove Mark.
Yay, rage!
And
I'm just
let's
getting
see.
angrier.
I'm going to go on ahead and Blanket of Night, so I get to add back to that forest that he just took me out of. Boom, boom. And I'm going to add to a stilt house, which will complete that token, but Mark also gets to add a shrine to any village.
Ooh, any village, huh?
Any village.
Well, I suppose I'll just go into this field here and grab the 2 favor for that.
All right.
Helps bring me a little closer to completing that goal as well.
I'm going to add a shrine to this still house. There you go. And let's go on ahead and eclipse over there as well. Replacing that.
Rage, which is going to let me pop.
And I also complete the Holy Village goal. However, I eclipsed, so instead I'm going to gain a farming one and trade in each of the tokens
Really?
for 6 more victory points. If you're going
Ouch.
ahead and bump me up there. buddy.
39. And I popped Kitsune out of here with my rage track because you maxed me out with that move.
All right, and that was all 5 for me. So now it is time for the Kitsune. And there is our
Kitsune.
next card for those of you who have amazing vision and can see it from over here.
All right, what do we have? We
All
are
right.
going to remove shrines starting here.
Boom.
Boom, that's a rage.
Then it goes to the left.
Going this way. Boom, that's me. That's a rage. So I'm up
Boom.
2 on the track already.
And she's going to attempt to
Add here. Can't
Nope.
go up.
Nope.
She can go here though.
Oh, she can.
And look, she's got her chain back.
Oh, that was
She's got
the
her
one
chain
I
in
destroyed
four.
earlier. It's up to you.
Look at that. All right.
She's
So,
beating.
so we're going to rotate again.
All right.
So rotation. Kitsune leaps back across the board. First player goes over to AJ, and AJ is in the farming village, and
Oh, man.
I have not done well completing goals, and I'm getting annihilated for it.
I just like gave up on this village forever ago.
I assume that I'm supposed to lose the game to the designer.
You
that
say
how
that,
this works?
and yet you
It
win
seems
most
like
of
you
our
guys
games.
are going to lose to Kitsune.
Hey, is that 2?
Two rage.
That's 2 rage.
That's 2 rage,
hey,
buddy.
that puts me at 4.
What are you
which,
going to do with your full rage?
I get to pop someone out of here, and I think I'm gonna Let's see, I could do that one, or I could do one of these. I think I'm going to pop you.
Yeah, I thought that might happen.
I like that.
All right.
Pop.
Well, I'm going to go on ahead and
Rage.
Knight, gain 4 favor.
Whoa.
Boom, boom. Jump up to 6 there. However, Mark, you get to add a shrine to any
village.
any.
And I want that. Can I move? No, I can't do that. I am going to go. I think I'm going to go in this forest over here and gain 2 nature.
Well, I am going to go on ahead and remove you one more time.
Rage!
There you are, buddy.
Love it.
And I'm going to add a shrine here, completing this village goal. Give me my token all the way across.
Farming village.
Alright. Man, you just have a sling of those fishing village
I know.
tokens.
I've got a bunch of fishing village tokens. I need villagers that will let me exchange.
That was 5 for me, so it is now your turn.
Okay, so we're going to go over here and grab all my cubes back. I need to get some stuff done here. Let's just add to this foo. I'm going to do my soul cut, which lets me remove one of my shrines in my current village, and I will pop out of this forest to do that. That's going to give me a rage. And I get to replace an opponent's shrine in another village, so I'm going to replace over here, granting me 2 favor. But more importantly, field. Oh, I don't have the stilt house. 1 second while I use my kata to add to a hut or stilt house in any village.
There it is.
There we'll go. That gains me a rage as well because of the ability. I now have stilt house and 2 fields, which gives me the wealthy village token. And I can turn in for 6 points so that I'm not as far behind. So I'm at 31 to AJ's 39. So I've got a little bit of ground to make up. I will use my add. I'm going to add to this field that I opened up before to balance those out, and I've got 1 more cube left, and I'm going to use this. I'm going to use that cube to remove Kitsune out of this space and break up her chain.
Very nice.
I don't want to lose villagers to her anymore. All right. Speaking of Kitsune.
All right, let's see what she does. And there, whoa,
She's doing a lot.
Cards. There we are. This is our next
A
Kitsune.
little bit. The other way. A little bit more. There you go. Now people can see it.
All
There
right.
you go.
There is the little Kitsune card.
Kitsune.
All right, what is she going to do? She's going to start by removing across the top row, starting here. She won't remove herself, but she is going to remove me twice.
Well,
Thanks, Kitsune.
thank you, Kitsune, because now we're all tied at 2, and I get to choose.
And she's going to attempt to add on the bottom row. First adding to this hut, and then going upward. So 1, 2, 3, up. There it is.
Upward. So she's going to add a second
2.
shrine.
And there we are. She has successfully removed 2 and added 2. And almost controls that village.
Yeah, she's getting
Well,
close.
it's a 3-way tie.
We're going to rotate. We're going to hop Kitsune again. Pass first player. And let's see what I can do. There's a way that I can get the holy village and the holy village and the wealthy village. I have my 2 forests. Oh, yes. All right, I'm going to use my kata ability. This lets me add a shrine to a hut or stilt house in any village and gain a rage.
There it is.
That hits me to 4. So I get to pop someone out, and I'm going to pull AJ out of this forest. I have a stilt house and 2 forests, which is the goal, so that's going to grant me a holy village token. I will then use just a basic remove ability to pull AJ out of this forest. And I'm going to add to the forest for 2 nature. I'm going to add to the forest for 2 more nature, which is doesn't do anything, but more importantly, I have a stilt house, forest, granting me the wealthy village token and another set of 4.
There it is.
So now, pop that up, gives me another 6 points. So now I am at 37 to AJ's 39, a much more manageable gap than what we had before. And then I am going to use my soul cut for my last ability and remove a shrine in a village, and I'm going to remove the shrine that is in this field. It's going to give me a rage, and then I get to replace an opponent's shrine in another village. And I'm going to replace, let's see, is AJ in a field? AJ is in a field. Let's replace AJ in this field, which is going to grant me 2 favor and max my tracks out at 12.
Very nice.
So it's a very solid turn, considering it's the last turn of the year.
Oh.
All right. Well, let's see what I can do to go ahead and meet up with that.
Turn.
So I can get the Holy Village token, but I don't think I can get the Wealthy one at all, especially now that you moved me out of there.
Yep.
That's fine. All right, so first things first.
That worked out really well for me. I really thought you were going to run away with the score.
Let's go ahead and kick Mark out of this forest space here.
Rage!
I'm going to move Lunar Pool, this village, or this shrine over here, so I gain 2 nature, and I'm going to gain 1 favor for using Lunar Pool. I'm then going to Blanket of Night, so that I gain the field and the forest, and go up 2 more, to 9, and then you get to add a shrine to any village.
Alright, and I'm already maxed out on the track, so that's not going to do any good here. However, oh, it's not my turn, so it wouldn't do me any good to do that. Oh well, I can block this forest to...
I'm going to shrine to this forest over here, so I gain 2 more nature, and I believe you recently took the last field. Yes, so I don't have any option to go in.
There's a field here, but it's...
Yeah,
you have
I
to
can't
play.
lunar pull over there,
Nope.
unfortunately. Yeah, alright, so I'm just going to go on ahead and add a shrine there to help shore up my influence.
Alright.
Alright.
I'm going to do Kitsune.
Oh, you're right, we need to do
Down
Kitsune.
here.
Alright, so there it is, hopefully at the correct angle. Alright, and let's go on ahead and resolve Kitsune. First she's going to
Whoa!
remove 3 shrines across
starting
the top.
here. So
Yeah.
you're going to lose one.
1,
I'm going to lose one and a
2.
rage, and then she's going to go back that direction and grab another one, another rage, which maxes me out, and I will pop, I guess it's Kitsune either way.
And then she is going to replace in the bottom row going to the left, so
Another
she takes out your
rage.
forest.
And she gets a shrine down here,
Boom, boom, boom.
which really hurt. Well, I mean, I didn't have a chain there anyway. So, all right. So now we're going to rotate the board. There's no need to jump Kitsune or the first player marker because our advent tokens have lined up, signifying the end of the year. And we are drafting villagers, starting with the farming village, which I lost miserably. And AJ also lost miserably because Kitsune's got 2 chains of 2. Kitsune's removing the farmer.
The farmer,
Worth 2 victory
would have
points.
been nice.
So Kitsune's going to remove the farmer. AJ gets the temple, so he gets to determine the tiebreaker.
And I'm going to take the monk for 1 nature.
Whoop. And that leaves me a peasant.
Oh.
A half victory point. I love my peasants.
You're halfway to victory.
All right, so we look at the wealthy village now. We're going to grab 3 cards from the wealthy village, and I've got a chain of 2, assuming I don't knock that down, and everybody else has a chain of 1. So again, I get to determine if Kitsune is going to go before you or not. I am going to... I think I'm actually going to use the Sensei. Now, the Sensei lets me reveal the top card of any villager deck, and then I can either resolve the claim ability of that villager, or I can not resolve the claim ability and just take the villager for its victory points. And I'm going to reveal the top card of the fishing village, because you know what I'm hoping to see.
There it is.
And this is exactly what I was hoping would happen. I just bumped our score track here, 37-39. The Hermit is what got flipped up, and I'm not going to use this claim ability. I don't want to remove one of my shrines. However, I want the 4 victory points, so I'll just claim him and add him to my victory points on top of the Sensei.
Yep,
So
that's 6 victory
So
points.
I get to keep the Sensei, even though I kept that as well. Kitsune is going to beat AJ here, and both cards are worth 2 victory points. So we're going to randomly toss one of them aside, and AJ will get the other. That one's for you.
And it looks like I'm going to gain 2 nature, which is the one I don't need.
Yep. The card that got removed was the guard, which would have given you a token and
Yep.
potentially pushed you towards 6. So
All right.
we are on the fishing village.
Fishing village, where Mark has the longest chain again.
I guess I would have had the Hermit anyway because he was on the top of the deck.
Yeah.
And I get first choice. So let's see here. I am going to take the advisor. The
Ooh.
advisor grants 3 favor. AJ really needs favor. I don't need favor because I'm maxed out. So again, this is what we call hate drafting, ladies and gentlemen. I know he needs it. So I'm going to do that, and then, whoops.
I assume you're going to choose Kitsune for second?
Yes, I am going to choose Kitsune for second, which is going to get rid of the guard, which would have given you a village token, and that gives you this.
Imagine it's a peasant.
It
and
is a
it
peasant.
is.
A lovely, lovely little peasant. And last village is the Holy Village, where AJ has prominence, and then Kitsune is going to take a card, and I'm going to get probably a peasant.
All right. Looks like. Yep, I'm going to go on ahead and take the Artisan, which gives me 2 favor and is worth 2 victory points, and I desperately needed that. The Kitsune is going to, randomly get rid of one of these 2.
Oh, it's not a peasant.
I know.
Unless it's a peasant and he's joking around with me.
Turn that.
I get the Yamabushi, add a shrine to a forest in this village, which I can't do, but it's worth 2 victory points at the end of the game.
Still pretty nice.
We're going to score our favor in nature tracks. AJ, what do you have over there?
I gain 11.
You gain 11. You are on 39, so you're right at 50. I gained 12 from my 37, so I'm at 49. So we are 1 point away with only end-game scoring to
I
go.
don't know. Gaining that Hermit, I think you already have it.
That Hermit's a big one. We shall see what happens here. So I usually sort everything by victory point just for counting purposes, but it's up to you how you want to handle those. That guy's side because he's not worth anything.
So the peasants are worth a half a victory point each. That doesn't mean that you can score a half a victory point. It is half round. It's the rounded down. So you need 2 in order to score.
Yeah, exactly. There are no half points in the game. We just scoring a half point basically means you have to have a pair of peasants to score a point. Have you counted up?
I gained 15.
15 is going to take you to 65 points. So I need to have 17 to tie you and 18 to win, correct? Does that count your...
Yes.
Okay.
Counted your token.
So
And I
2,
believe you.
4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There's 2 3-point villagers, which takes me to 18. That's 22, 23. I have 2 peasants, so there's another point, 24, and I have a village token, 25.
Very nice.
So that's going to take me to, would be 75, but I'm at 49, so 74.
Yep. You just got some great points from that early villager drafting, especially with the Kitsune.
And that is a great example. The final score is 74 for me, 65 for AJ. So I beat AJ by 9 points.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a point in the game where I was down 14 points. So that just goes to show that you're never really out of the game. Because there are so many ways to score points. The end game scoring is huge. I mean, that 25 points was a huge swing at the end. With the villagers that I ended up getting. But again, there were times where you were pulling ahead because you were grabbing village tokens and you were able to cash us in for the 6 points. And I was seeing, okay, I can't complete the goal, so I'm going to focus on driving my tracks up as high as I possibly can and gain victory points that way. And so that contributed to that 14-point span where you ahead by, luckily. But again, it just goes to show that the game doesn't suffer from a runaway leader problem. I mean, 14 points in other games, 14 points. You see the leaders up by 14 points in a lot of other games that are out on the shelves these days, and it's like, well, I might as well just quit trying because I'm not going to be able to make up that gap. But the way this game is designed and the way that you have the end game, you have just multiple ways that you're going to get those points. You're never out of it, which again I think is brilliant. And being able to switch up that strategy of, okay, maybe I was focusing on the goals and now that's not working out for me so much, so I'll focus on favor in nature. And pull things out of there, I think is fantastic as well. So, again, I was down 14 points, ended up winning by 9.
Yeah, you really can't ignore any part of this game. I mean, I didn't get a lot of villagers, and that really came to hurt me in the end. But you need to pay attention to the village tokens. You need to pay attention to the favor nature tracks. You need to pay attention to the goals or just the influence altogether for the villagers.
And exactly what you were saying,
past the victory.
you were not getting a lot of villagers. There were a lot of times where Kitsune was removing villagers that were worth victory points, leaving you with a half-point peasant.
Yes, I had like 6 peasants there at the end.
Exactly. So that, again, shows Kitsune's aggressiveness and how she can really affect the outcome of the game. So do we have any questions, Kira, that have come in either in the chat or in the Q&A?
Not that we haven't addressed already, but now is the time, folks. If you've got some questions, throw them in the chat, throw them in the Q&A. If you're on Facebook, put them in the comments. If you're on YouTube, there is a chat window there, so please be sure to add them there.
Yeah.
We'll bounce around here and see if anybody has anything.
Jumping around. If there was something that you saw that you didn't quite understand or wanted more clarification on, definitely. And we've got the brain behind the game sitting here, so now's the best time to answer or to ask because he'll be able to. So if there's any kind of clarification, if you wanted to know scenario wise,
how they were going to answer us.
How they were going to answer us? Yeah, absolutely. Now's the time to answer our questions. No, but yeah. So hopefully you've enjoyed the 2-player version and watching how that plays again. And I know, like I said, we had a 2-player that Derek and Lizzie did on Board Game Spotlight on Tuesday. We want to do again because there have been a lot of questions about that deck. I know obviously Rado's video that's on the page did 2-player as well, but just kind of showing how Kitsune has evolved since Rado's video.
Yes.
And because it continued to evolve past there. So we've had people asking about the 2-player, so we really wanted to show again how Kitsune works and how she is indeed more aggressive and definitely becomes more of a third player and not just a nuisance that's in the way.
Yeah.
Like she was before, and something you could kind of ignore. And I think that the new deck does that. So hopefully you've enjoyed seeing Kitsune. Hopefully it's answered those questions of how the 2-player game works. Because again, a lot of us play 2-player games. Whether that's a 2-player only game or something like this that scales to 2 players. Hopefully you've seen how it scales to the 2-player count, and you feel comfortable, with sitting down with someone and playing in this manner, using that third player as a deck of cards, which is awesome. So. Yeah, so again, if you've got questions, drop them there. If you don't drop them in the chat, feel free, throw them up. Obviously the Facebook Live video is going to be on Facebook. After this, you can drop comments on there. We'll be monitoring that and answering questions there after the fact. For people, obviously people are watching now. There are going to be people that are going to come in after the fact on Kickstarter, Facebook, on the YouTube channel. No matter where you're watching this, if you're not watching it live. Comment on Facebook, drop a comment to us on the Kickstarter page. If you're a backer, if you're not a backer, shoot us a message. We can answer a question there. If you're on YouTube watching it, drop in the comments where we monitor all of those things on an ongoing basis, and we'll get questions answered for you that way if you're not live watching it right now.
Yep, we are literally in pretty much every source of media trying to answer your questions.
Yeah.
Not just about Kami-sama, but everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Jump over to BGG. We always have different things. You got to look at Ketsugetsu and Yue. If you jump over to the BGG page for Kami-sama, we've got an ongoing series, the Kami Spotlight, that's going on in the forums, where we post a new Kami on there. We show their character card with their abilities, give a breakdown of the abilities, so you can kind of familiarize yourselves with the skills and the abilities of the individual Kami even before the game hits your table, so you can kind of already start planning out a little bit of strategy as to how you would play that character. And love to have your questions there. If you take a look at a character and want to know more about how that person plays or what might be a viable strategy, drop it down there. We're happy to answer those types of questions, and I think we've had a couple people that have done that on BGG already. One of them was specifically with Ketsugetsu. Well, I don't really understand how the rage track works. How would I really play that? Those are fun questions for us to answer to help kind of plan with strategy. So highly recommend checking out BGG if you want to see more about the individual Kami. Subscribe on BGG so you get updates when those new updates go, when those new Kami spotlights go out. I think there's a 2-player. There is a forum post about the 2-player that breaks it down, and that shows these cards up close. Several of the cards, and explains how they work. So if it wasn't quite clear during the playthrough, there's a good forum post there. We just put up the 8th base game Kami in the Kami Spotlight, so I think the next ones will focus on the 4 expansion characters. We'll have a Radish Spirit Kami Spotlight coming up soon. So if you want to see that, get subscribed on BGG so that you don't miss that notification when it comes through.
Yep, and then other things going on. For those of you in Indianapolis, will be live on Tuesday at Books and Brews.
Yep, Books and Brews
in
Fishers.
There.
I'll be sending a few copies with you guys because I won't be there till a little bit later.
Yes, AJ is going to be doing an interview, a podcast.
We've got him booked up.
We've got AJ doing a media tour right now, so he's going to be doing an interview with Richard of the We're Not Wizards podcast. I don't know. Hi, Richard, if you're watching this live or watching after the fact. Hi, Richard. AJ is going to chat with you on Tuesday, and then he'll be joining us at Books and Brews a little later once that interview's done.
Which Board Game Panda will be there.
Yes, Board Games with Panda will be there, and I thought I saw Drinking Meeples are planning to come by as well. So A couple local Indianapolis podcasts are going to stop by, and they've
We'll
been.
have Imperious with us
Yes.
as well.
Yep.
Yes.
Imperious will be with us.
With the new artwork, right?
Yes.
Yes.
New artwork, new graphic design, which is going to be awesome. So definitely, if you're in the Indianapolis area or you want to make the drive to Indianapolis on Tuesday evening, feel free to pop in. Yes, this is Imperious. This is a 2 to 4 player card game,
From
space
Grant Rodiak,
opera, Grant Rodiak.
Rodiak.
Yeah. So a lot of very cool little card game kind of deception, not really deception, but a lot of deduction going on to that. But if you're in the Indy area, you want to drive to Indianapolis Tuesday night, we'll be at Books and Brews starting at 6 o'clock on Tuesday night. We will be coming up kind of future. We'll be at IndyCon the weekend of the 16th through the 18th of March, which is in Carmel here in Indiana. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll be at HoosierCon, also here in Indiana. So we got a couple of con appearances coming up. Stop by.
2 weeks after
play
that,
con.
I'll
Pretty
be
sure
down in Moon
IndyCon
City in
is sold
Springfield.
out. IndyCon is sold out, but HoosierCon is a free event.
HoosierCon, yes.
definitely
HoosierCon
be
is
sure to check it
fantastic. Free event. You can stop by, register for free. You really walk in, you register, they give you a badge. You can join the Hoosier Gamers Society, and they give you little swag bags for doing so, but you don't have to. You can literally just come.
Helps keep the convention going.
Yep, it does. And the really nice thing about HoosierCon, it's a 3-day convention. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday that weekend, absolutely free. Pop in. They've got some podcasts that are going on, and even podcasting live. They do some live broadcasts. They do a lot of RPGs, a lot of game tables that are open that are there for the entire 3-day convention that you can come to for free. So bring a carload of people out and play games. We'll be there with Kami-sama. We'll have Imperious with us. I wouldn't be shocked if we have Western Legends with us as well for people that want to play that, because we are still taking pre-orders for Western Legends. So we'll have a lot of games from the Kolossal catalog will be hitting tables at the next couple of conventions.
You guys to do.
Absolutely. So if there are no more questions that have come through, I think we can.
We'll be sure to check them. I'll just say bye since I was like hiding
All
the
right.
whole time.
So Kira was here. It wasn't just a recording.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you
Thanks.
later.